Councilman Taylorman to get up here, we'll get our meeting started. I'd like to call our town council meeting for August the 19th to order. Could we please stand for our pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we just invite you into our meeting today and ask you to lead us and guide us and share your wisdom with us as always. And we also would like to thank you for the service of our councilman, Xavier Harrison, and we just lift his family up to you and ask that you envelop them with your precious love. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The first item on our agenda is the approving of the minutes. Were there any corrections to those minutes?
Lou, I'm sorry, I forgot to get in touch with you. There was one on page 13. It's like right in the middle of 7C.
Okay.
Councilmember Bill Lump identified several provisions of the ordinance that she believed. That should be me. Kate Burns.
I appreciate that.
That's sex change here.
You did.
I didn't see it.
I did too.
All right.
That
I
was
told
pretty
Lou,
good.
that's one Bill's gonna find for sure.
Missed that one.
Are there any other corrections?
Being moved to be approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
At this time, we have our public comments. First is Larry Cockrell. Come in and just state your name and that you live in Nashville or wherever, and you have 3 minutes.
Larry Cockrell, 205 East Church Street, Nashville. Mayor Council, I purchased 201 East Church Street in 2017 while still living in Raleigh. Since that time, I have had multiple complaints from the planning department concerning this property. First complaint was in somewhere around 2018, 2019. This would be my first meeting with Mr. Lansing and Mr. Lucas. At that meeting in Town Hall, I raised the issue of trespassing on the property due to photographs that were taken on the property exhibiting angles not visible from a public street, sidewalk, or walkway, indicating deep entry into the property. At that meeting, I requested that I be notified in the future if any access to the property was necessary, and that I would be happy to meet and accompany anyone onto the property. Since that time, there have been 4 more complaints from the town concerning the property, of which letters have been received from the town with pictures exhibiting angles and views not accessible from a public street, sidewalk, or walkway, indicating deep entry onto the property. Each of these 4 complaints resulted in meetings at Town Hall in which I reiterated at each meeting to either Mr. Lucas, now Ms. Jones, or both that trespassing had occurred and that the direction had been given previously to request access to the property prior to their entering the same. This past week, Friday the 14th of August, I received a 5th letter along with pictures attached exhibiting angles and views not accessible from a public street, sidewalk, or walkway, indicating deep entry onto the property. This has become obvious to me that the revocation of my access in previous meetings on multiple occasions has and will not be honored since my first meeting in 2018 or 19. I have never received one phone call, email, or letter requesting an appointment or my presence to escort anyone from the town onto 201 East Church Street prior to entry, since specifically requesting that they do so. As my only recourse, I am lodging a formal complaint of violation of my 4th Amendment rights and violations of North Carolina state statutes. Mayor, Mr. Lansing, Lou, and Mr. Lucas, you have been notified. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have at a later date.
Thank you. Nancy West.
Nancy West, Nashville Graphic. One question. Nash County has installed Narcan distribution boxes at all libraries in the county except for Cooley Library. So I wanted to know if the town planned to also allow installation outside the library.
I don't have an answer, but I'll find one for you. Anybody have an answer here?
Well, Nancy, it was talked about with staff and council members individually, and decided that we didn't want to have a Narcan distribution box at this library, this facility. We wanted to make sure that it remained a safe haven for our children and our patrons, and having a Narcan box here and available, there was concerns that it would bring individuals that wouldn't be perceived well at this facility.
Is there, has the town thought about another place possibly within town limits to put it?
Yeah, we offered the police fire station at 501 South Barn Street to Nash County for placement of it.
We also have the county courthouse, which seems
Right.
like a great place.
Okay, did somebody ask them about that too? Or we don't know yet?
I don't know about the courthouse, but we offered Tia the PD fire station.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. And the next item on our agenda is the sewer manhole sealing project. Randy?
Yes, Mayor and Council, recently, we had Matt Gann Associates do the asset inventory assessment for both our water and sewer. When they did the sewer, they popped all the manholes in the system, checked them for leaks, infiltration, and found about 700 of them that had some form of infiltration. And then we set out on a program to seal those. Early on, when this was discovered, Mike Tolson with Matt Gann Associates had put in to the DWI, Division of Water Infrastructure with the state of North Carolina, for an application for funding. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one here.
That's what I thought.
So, similar,
Yeah, they're confusing.
yep. So we bid out the sealing of those, Mike Tolson did for us, after he came up with plans and specifications for the interior sealing of the manholes. We got 3 bids, CTR Coatings in Knoxville, Advanced Rehabilitation Technologies from Ohio, and Carolina Lift Stations from York, South Carolina. And then applying the low bid to our 700 manholes at the unit price that they bid resulted in a project cost of $1,500,000 approximately. And the town was awarded $1.5 million from Nash County through their direct appropriation, that's $17.5 million. And then we signed that interlocal agreement for that. And at this time, Matt Gay and Associates and town staff is recommending the council award a contract to CTR Coatings for their unit price of $2,147 per linear foot to seal approximately 700 manholes in our sewer system. And we do have Mike Tolson, our engineer, here with us, if you have any questions for him about that.
Council, do you have any questions?
Randy, I guess I'm confused also. I thought we were already had a project going on sealing these manholes.
We do,
Just not this many.
It's not the same hole.
I thought we used that same money.
Same hole?
yes. And that contract, we had extended a contract to CTR Coating for $150,000 worth of manhole sealing for 3 years for a total of $450,000. This includes that. What we had found when we submitted our reimbursements to NCDEQ to draw down on our asset inventory assessment is they wanted to see a formal bid letting on it. We kind of started this project from the wrong end, I think. I mean, we approached it as a maintenance contract, whereby we didn't have to have plans and specifications. I mean, it's like asphalting a street. You call the asphalt company, they know exactly what to do. You specify what mix you want, and that's about it. And, but no, they wanted detailed plans and specifications, so Matt Gay and Associates put those together. Then they wanted to see a formal bid letting, competitive one, so we did that, which was really tough to do when you're doing a proprietary product, this polymer, polyurethane coating that they're putting in the manholes is proprietary. And you can only get it from authorized dealers that the manufacturer has authorized to install it. So that's why you see some of the bids are from Tennessee and Ohio and New York. Anyway, the $450,000 contract we have with CTR Coating and are underway already would be included in this expanded contract letting.
Okay, so it's included in the 1,500,000.
Yes, it will be.
But I thought we already authorized 1.5 million from the county to do this exact same thing a year ago.
We did with our execution of that interlocal agreement, but it wasn't the documentation that DWI wanted or needed. This is.
Okay,
And
so
Mike,
we-
maybe you can expand
So
on
we-
it.
if I may,
we're doing the same work, we just got to get the paperwork right.
This is back-end paperwork to basically make
Okay.
people at the state happy with the interlocal agreement that you did with the county.
Okay, all right.
It's still the same pool of money. It's just, they have a process and a checklist, and if you don't have every little check on that box, and that's what we're just doing the paperwork on the back end, and unfortunately, they've just drug it to this point where we've got to have you guys approve something that's already in the works, and I'll tell Randy, and I've told Randy several times, it is not uncommon that they have, we need one more thing. Well, we're about to finish the project, and you're telling me you can't, so
Yeah.
we're just,
Okay, all right.
and so it's unfortunate, but it is what it is at that point,
Okay.
just trying to get the paperwork together.
How far along are we in it?
So I can't remember the exact number of manholes that we've done, but it's, in the couple hundred range of manholes, I believe, from the list I saw the other day. We're updating your information, getting ready for your audit, and we have not been day-to-day involved in it, but just trying to help you guys get the paperwork in place that you need. But moving along quite well. I would imagine you've seen some improvements in your infiltration and your numbers. Of course, it's been dry summer relatively, so I don't know if you've seen the effect of it, but it will pay dividends over time for sure, which is kind of a good segue into the next thing we're going to talk about, that I'm here to talk about too. But,
So we're 25 to 30% into it.
I would say that's probably about right. You're probably almost 2 years into the contract, so, but yes, I mean, this is getting you basically what you've been paying out of enterprise, getting you reimbursed for some of the stuff
Okay.
you've already fronted on things like that.
Okay, all right.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. 240 is the last number that I've got, so we're 240 into this project right now.
Well, I'm just thrilled and thankful that we're finally attacking our infrastructure.
Oh, absolutely.
So our citizens won't keep running into all these problems. So I'm very grateful for what we're doing. We're eating this elephant a bite at a time.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad we're getting things straightened out, because it needed it desperately.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we like 3 or 4 years left? Is that the timeline, or?
I think that once this gets cleared up and you can see that the money is coming back in from the state to reimburse you for what you've kind of fronted, I think it can probably wrap up in a year.
Okay.
When
Great.
it really comes down to it, because it's, you kind of get, okay, we're paying out a lot. We'd like to see some money coming back in for what we've been paying out as far as that goes with the agreement. And so I would say that, I wouldn't say you've slowed down the contractor, but, being hesitant and being frugal with, the funds you're fronting for them, and this will allow the funds to come back in and get that contract moving.
Okay.
And those guys will, they'll come back in here and hit, 100 manholes in a month or two, at a time. So
That's great.
It moves fast when it needs to.
So the contractor out of Tennessee is the one that's been doing the work thus far?
He is,
And we'll continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And they're good. They've been doing good work. They run out of, that's where their headquarters are, is in Tennessee, but they've got crews that they run all over North Carolina. So.
And you're pleased with what they do?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I recommend them everywhere, because it's the best product I've seen to use to seal manholes and to give you, it comes with a 10-year warranty that, you don't have to touch them for 10 years other than, your typical, tie-ins and inspections and things like that. It just has been very, very beneficial to all the systems we've recommended them in. I've got towns that we've done the entire town in, and they've cut their infiltration down to about 15% where it was at 85%.
Oh, that's
So-
great. That's good.
But do you think they're going to last more than 10 years, I hope?
Oh, yeah, well, it's a 50-year project.
Okay, all right.
You know,
I was like, ooh, it's a lot of money.
your typical epoxy coating that goes in there, they'll give you a 2-year warranty, and I've seen that flake off within a year. This stuff, I have seen them go back in a couple years later to fix something that had been scratched or messed up in a manhole, and literally pull the casting off because it was attached to it so hard that they, you know, it would pull the casting off with it. So it's a very, it's like truck bed liner for the inside of the manholes. It seals everything
Okay.
up and gets the leaks fixed. You got a lot of brick manholes, and that's why, you know, we're using it so much.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah. If not, do I hear a motion to approve Resolution 2026-26, awarding a manhole sealing contract to CTR Coatings for the sealing of the 700 sanitary sewer manholes not to exceed $1,500,000?
So made.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
The next item is the DWI loan offer for the sewer rehabilitation.
Mayor and council, the town received a letter from the Division of Water Infrastructure saying that if we wanted to, we have a $3 million loan offered to us by DWI for 2.45% interest for 20 years that we could do sewer rehabilitation work with. And what that means is we clean and televise approximately 51,000 feet of 8-inch verified clay sewer pipe that's in our sanitary sewer collection system. We had identified damaged and bad sections of pipe that need to be repaired, and then we would go ahead and have those repaired, point repaired, or a slip lining to seal them up. And that type of project is called a fix and find sewer repair project. So Mike Tolson with Matt Gay and Associates had submitted this to DWI a couple years back. The first 2 rounds of funding, we weren't awarded anything. In the spring of this year, they made this offer to us. So the question comes back to the council. Does the town want to accept the $3 million low-interest loan to do a find and repair sewer project, or do we want to pass on it? The annual loan would, on the full $3 million at the 2.45% interest, would have an annual payment of about $190,640. And I put the amortization schedule in the packet along with the letter of offer on the loan. And we have Mike Tolson here along with our Public Works Director, Jason Glover, to talk about the pros and cons of doing one large project at one time to get it all sealed up versus doing parts and pieces of this with our own funds, so to speak, as we go over time.
Talk to us.
So the original application was for $7.5 million. The way the scoring structures and things like that work out, this is what DWI wound up offering you in this round. This was a reconsideration of a previous application. We did not put in that round for it. And I was very surprised to see any offer whatsoever come in for it. And as I tell most towns that we deal with, when there's a, $3 million is nothing to, is nothing to laugh at as far as an expense and everything else, but it is a loan. And it is incredibly, generous for them to offer it, but at the same time, it will get a $3 million slug of what we had anticipated was $7.5 million worth of capital work. So it won't get it all. It will get a very large chunk of it. And what we wind up finding is, you spend quite a bit of money on the front end trying to get 80% of the problem mixed up and then fixed, and then you wind up having 20% of the problem left, and you could spend 3 times as much money chasing that last 20%. But you haven't had a significant clean and TV and find and fix type project like this in your town. And this is, since I've been coming to you and talking to you about sewer rehab and everything else, this is the first funding we've really gotten back that's going to be sewer rehab related, looking at the mains, looking at the lines, fixing what we can. We've got a good amount of video that was done as part of the AIA that we just did, that we could go and fix the problems we found in that. We couldn't fix them with the AIA money. We could turn around and use this to fix those problems immediately and not do 51,000 feet of video and do 20,000 feet somewhere else and search somewhere else in the thing. We did about 25,000 to 30,000 feet in the AIA of video. We've got those data. We know what we need to fix out of that. You can use these funds to fix those problems, and you can fix those today. The real report out of that is that we didn't find terrible smoking guns anywhere where we found, oh, there's 50 gallons a minute leak, 10 gallons a minute leak. It was a few roots here, a few broken, but it's in sewer rehab. The name of the game is death by 1,000 cuts. You've got a gallon here, you got a gallon here, you got 5 gallons leak here, and those add up, and those are what's coming into your system and robbing you of capacity. So to say going after it with $3 million worth of work is very worth it. What we discussed in our, hey, is it better to just commit $200,000 a year, which is what your annual debt payment would be on it, to go ahead and plan $200,000 a year worth of capital improvement work and slow roll it, you'd be at the same amount. You wouldn't get the benefit of having those leaks fixed today versus doing 1/20th, 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 every year that you did it. And what I have found in municipal budgeting and everything else is that if you have a $200,000 line item that you are reserving for sewer rehab each year, the minute one pump station goes down, that $200,000 gets yanked because, well, you're not going to get any sewer rehab this year because of this. This at least gets it fixed, and you have a debt commitment that you're paying, and you fix the problem today. It gives you the savings today, and it keeps you, not that any of you guys would make any bad budget decisions, but you may wind up having to take that $200,000 a year back for, a pump station that goes bad or this that goes bad, and it's not there, and it's not fixing a problem that you can fix today versus still having it in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And so it's really a choice of whether or not you want to accept the debt capacity. The work needs to be done one way or another, is my opinion and my recommendation to you. It's how you guys want to shake the budget and debt capacity that you're looking at. And we can continue to apply for sewer rehab projects and future applications. That is what I do for a living. But at the same time, you've got this offer on the table that you just need to consider the financial.
Does any of this money ever come as a grant?
It does, and that's why it's unfortunate this came in. This was only going to be a $3 million loan from this. We had applied for it to be a grant. This is the offer they made. Now, we could turn around and you could deny this money and we could reapply, but you've got $3 million sitting there waiting. Somebody's offering you, but it's got payment, it's got terms.
Well, if we decided to go with this, could we still write a grant for the rest?
Well, you could certainly apply for the
Apply,
funds.
that's what I mean.
And this is not going to be a problem that you can put $3 million at today, and it's never, you're going to have to, every year you're going to have to pay attention to, hey, we're getting some creep on our infiltration. We need to go and do some sewer rehab. You just need a routine and an asset management strategy of find and fix, TV. I mean, it's always going to be, I'll be back in 5 years with another one. If we did it all today, I'd still be back in 5 years. Well, the ones we didn't fix 5 years ago, we need to go TV them and look at them and see how it's going.
So does this decrease our chances of obtaining that grant?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I don't think it would decrease it. I've got towns that I have reapplied. I've gotten it funded with a loan and turned around and reapplied again and gotten it as a grant the next time, and you just formally deny the loan part. The reason this came about was they sent the letters of intent to fund, and they were asking us, hey, when's your ER due? Because the next process is to do an engineering report and to do all the things that come with procurement and everything else. And so they were calling saying, hey, I hadn't seen your ER yet, deadlines are coming up, do we need to, what have you decided to do? And they were just trying to get you guys to make a decision on what you were going to do with the funds and stuff. So when it comes right down to it, you still need to do the work. It's just you guys decide how you want to, how you want to pay for it in the long term. $3 million today would make a large inroads to fixing a lot of infiltration. And it would save you money on your downstream treatment, bill like you typically have. But
Which that would reflect in this, for the citizens, wouldn't it?
That it would, of course, and you would see, hopefully fewer costs, and you wouldn't have your water and sewer fund in a stretch with, having to come up with surcharges or anything like that as much, but I can't tell you that it's gonna fix all the
Right,
problems.
right.
And the numbers that are in that description of the 51,000 are based on that $7.5 million application, so they gave you half of what you'd asked for you to still do the $7.5 million worth of work. So in other words, they didn't give you everything you needed, but they gave you what they could give you.
So if we do the 3 million and we owe 190,000 plus per year, do we have a projection on what the annual savings would be?
I have not run that, and I just need to run those different numbers on it. I need to look at what you're currently seeing surcharge-wise. You've also got that manhole sealing project that's fixing problems from a different angle. So it's a hard moving target.
We can put all of those buckets together. As long as we're receiving enough savings to cover it, I think it's a no-brainer.
Well, and I need to run those numbers with your finance folks and everything to see, hey, what are you seeing wise? Problems today, fixed today will give you 20 years until they're possibly a problem again in 20 years, because you have, things just, they are deteriorating assets kind of thing. I would say that the more fixes we can do today, the longer term, you get more savings, long term. So it does make sense. I just don't know if it can exactly correlate to $190,000 worth of.
I'm gonna ask the question a different way, so if we took what you've seen and spent the 3 million on what you've seen, do you have an estimate of what would save us per month or per year?
Not as it correlates over to your, I'd have to check some numbers before I told you a real savings number, but we can get that. I can, I don't have it prepared for you.
When does this answer due?
Well, like Mike said, we put it off. This letter came in April of 2021, and they wanted to know in 30
21.
days. I'm sorry, 26.
Okay.
And they wanted to know in 30 days, and we hadn't done anything with it, so, what Mike and I have told them is that we were having the meeting today and discussing it, and we would get back to them very shortly after that.
Well, I'm asking another question that Kate Burns asked, but a different way. Are points be deducted if we take this on our future grants for the same project?
No.
Okay.
Each application stands on its own. This was, like I said, this was a reconsideration. When you turn one in, you get two shots at it, essentially, is what they look at it this way, and you either don't get it in this round, and they put that same scoring back into the next consideration. So I don't necessarily follow up with them when we don't get it, and then all of a sudden I'm happily surprised when we find out that we can call you and say, hey, they funded this project. This is the first one I've ever had that came back and they only funded half of it, or a $3 million amount, which is, $3 million is the most they could offer you with the kind of utility that you are versus this, versus not being viable utility, not having all of it be grant, those kinds of things. So with that said, the cost per savings, Jason's got some data he's gonna send me that I can help figure that part out. As far as having to have a decision made, all we really need to do is, if you want to continue to consider this, is I can put a request into the state that your deadlines be moved out and your milestones be moved out, and say, we're going through some numbers, they were perfectly fine with us, taking it to this meeting today, and I'm gonna have to go and do that anyway because your PER for it was due Monday. So, but that was hey, they give you a very short trigger on, hey, that's not enough time for you to procure an engineer, for you to actually write a PER, for you to actually get something turned in for them to consider. And then once you turn it in August, they'll have you hopefully some comments and everything back in January of this year was your next milestone on it. So, not like they're moving real fast up there. So a few months delay here and there, we just let them know what's going on and keep them apprised. They'll be fine with that with the request. I haven't seen, matter of fact, I've seen Randy get very quick results when we've had to extend deadlines on other things. And he gets a response in 2 days, where I'd be 6 weeks getting one, because he's with a town, they want to know the things like that you guys are sending them. So With that said, I can get you that data. I can get you a better correlation, but it will be an estimate. It will be I don't know if it's gonna rain. You guys have a big system. You got a very large outfall that runs right along Stony Creek that is a very flashy creek that would take on water that we feel like is a very big source of infiltration when the river's out, or the creek's out of its banks. We are trying to address that, but we've got other funding applications out there to try and get that resolved. This won't even touch that because this will fix the stuff in town versus going after that. That's a $13-14 million project out there in Stony Creek, so, we're trying to heal the cuts in town versus, going after the real big one out there we're working on that, but we've applied for that several times and just haven't struck gold yet on it, so.
Is this the best you think we're going to get in, say, the 5-year short term?
I don't think so. I think if we keep applying, I think the fact that they reconsidered it and it's scored well enough to be awarded a loan at this point means that you're keep trying, one more shot, and they've obviously seen that you're working very hard towards manhole sealing. That improves if we resubmitted this application tomorrow, we may get some of it. The fact that you guys are so healthy from a financial standpoint and you do your audits on time and do all those things, and you're not in part of the viable utility reserve, which is, basically a label that says you need more funding, more principal forgiveness. So it almost, you can't be rewarded for not doing, rewarded with very good terms on loans because they see you as a good viable fiscal entity kind of thing. Some of the other towns that I work with, they're not as in good shape fiscally as you guys are, don't have an enterprise fund balance like you may have. And unfortunately, they need more, and so those guys fill up and take all of the principal forgiveness that we're really looking for from a grant side of things, if that makes sense. And so the fact that they've offered you a loan means that they're paying attention to it, and you can tell them that the conditions aren't favorable for whatever you want. But what I would tell you is, it's on the table. It's $3 million in front of you, but there's some payment terms on it. We can go back and continue to apply for grants, which I would recommend every period apply for the grants, every bit you can get. It's just that, you guys being a responsible town physically are very much not gonna continue to get loans instead of grant because you're not in dire consequence like a lot of the municipalities that I see are. That's a good thing, but not necessarily the noise you guys wanna hear, so.
I'm glad that you keep saying that we're in good financial standing and we want to stay that way. We don't want to fall in the hole and try to dig our way out.
That's right.
My concern is, it's a 20-year loan, and I see the interest that will be paid back through this loan. And my main question is to Randy, this $190,000 per year, how bad of an impact will it have on our yearly budget? If we put it into the budget, hopefully we won't have to shortchange any other department or the citizens of Nashville. We just pay back. Can we absorb this comfortably?
Well, we're working with the School of Government right now on a rate study, and one of the things Jason and Tressa have been working with the gals there at the school is forecasting what we need as far as a capital improvement plan and how much money we'd be spending for that. This $190,000 annual payment could be considered our capital improvement plan worked into our rates. When they presented at our budget work session, they said that we were okay the way we are, but we're no longer, our expenses for water and sewer have increased to the point where we're no longer tucking anything away in fund balance for future projects or replacement projects. So their concern was that we needed to have a rate increase just for that purpose alone, and we did. The council approved a 15% increase in water and sewer rates.
So would this force us to have to make another increase next year?
Well, that rate study will determine that. My gut feeling is for the first couple of years, no. But as the years go on, our annual operating costs continue to rise and rise and
Right.
rise. And unless you keep your rates continuing to go up, you don't cover that annual inflation.
So, if it's been 4 months, I feel certain that staff doesn't feel good about this, so they would have brought it to us 3 months ago. Is that a good statement?
Well, be honest with you, I kind of have forgot about it. Well, Mike had let me know as soon as it came out, and we were in the midst of getting ready for the budget and preparing for the budget, and it kind of got pushed to the side. And then when he called me 2 weeks ago and said, "Hey, you need to decide something on this," they're sending us letters about it. So,
Can we hear from Jason?
Yeah. So I just have 2 points to make. One, we've been keeping a spreadsheet since about June of 2024, and I can't give you an exact number. However, I can say since this work has been going on, we have noticed, I track rainfall, snowfall, the water that we produce with our wells, the water we purchase from Rocky Mount, and the water we send to Rocky Mount. And I can tell you that during large rain events, we have seen a decrease over the last 2 years. So the project is working. I can't give you a numerical, it's 10%, 20%, but I'm going to share that spreadsheet with Mike Tolleson, and maybe he can analyze it and give us, some raw data points. The second thing I was going to make was, this is a lot of money and this is a big decision. However, the cost for CTR coating or any other polymer coating that we're going to use is increasing yearly. So 3, 5, 7% increases, not only for the epoxy because of what's going on overseas, but labor costs, insurance costs, and all that type of stuff. So if we do pass on this and we defer it down the road, it's going to be more expensive. Whereas if we get this $3 million now, we can make a huge dent at this price point per linear foot versus pushing this off for 10 years. And every year we're going to come and say there's a 3%, 5%, 7% increase. And we're going to keep getting smaller and smaller linear footage amounts done annually until it's almost not worth it. And then we're going to come and say, well, we need 300 or we need 400 or we need 500. We're going to get a lot of done right now at the price we're at now. But as council is very aware, things are going up with every project that we do.
Jason, the materials that we would need to proceed with this, is that something that we could purchase or stockpile at today's price? Or would we have to
No, sir.
purchase it as we needed it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know the shelf life of it, but it's something that company has proprietary, and it's not like we can put it in the warehouse and keep it at today's price.
And one of our problems now as a town is we've pushed it down, kicked the can down the road for so many years, that now we're trying to gather together and get things right for our citizens.
Yeah, unfortunately, and again, costs are just gonna keep going up, so.
Well, the biggest question is, I agree with what you're saying, but the biggest question is, if we can get a $7 million grant next year, that makes it a whole lot better, but we don't know.
Certainly apply and continue to apply, and maybe the next ask is only $3 million, and we find a right-sized grant application. We put in for what that 51,000 feet recommend is all the vitrified clay pipe, which is the terracotta pipe in your system. That was the number we pulled together that said you got 51,000 feet of, that's 10 miles of a material that is old, deteriorated, cracked, roots, fraught for infiltration. That's what the application was pulled together to do. It was also to TV and video that. It was also to, rehab maybe some line a few wet wells, do those sorts of things that are just included in a sewer rehab project. Fix some manhole covers, fix some lids, raise a few lids that are in flood-prone areas that wind up taking on water when it rains. But a sewer rehab-minded project. You always needed to adopt a sewer rehab CIP project in some form and just put some money into it every year to have an ongoing sewer rehab. You're required by your state permit to video 10%, is it still? 10% of your system a year, cleaning TV, or something, not video, cleaning TV. This kind of scratches some of those itches as well and gets a large portion of your system video. We did that as part of your AIA, and that's what, is going to fix for cleaning and TVing. You got to do that anyway, so a sewer rehab, CIP project just continues to build and fix and find and you know, you may not fix them every year as part of it, but you'll find it this year and put in the budget for next year to fix it, you know, to fix that one point repair or to line this point. And you just make those decisions on an annual basis. And you get into the routine of every year I've got to paint the house, every year I've got to clean the gutters, you know, you're cleaning the gutters essentially, you know, you got to do it because leaves keep coming, you know, kind of thing.
And the flexibility you mentioned, as long as it's sewer related, we can do it with that 3 million. We're not limited to certain things with the loan.
Well, the scope is going to be specifically written to that description that's in there. So what we'll do is they'll award a project to do that kind of find and fix. They don't care where it is in the system, but it's going to be clean TV, point repair, line, you know, it's going to be sewer main rehab related. It won't be a lift station replacement unless I
Right.
specifically have it in that list, and I don't think I do have.
But you mentioned, it says find and repair, but we can repair what we already found. Is that?
That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and we'll fix what we found in the TV portion of the AIA video we've got. We know where those are, we can fix those today, and we'll use whatever budget is left over, you know, to, you know, go find and fix
Find and
elsewhere.
fix something else.
Thank you so
We'll have
much.
to develop a set of drawings that says go do this and go do that, but that's.
I have one last question, sorry. Do you think taking on this debt would actually help our future applications?
Yes, only in the small little bit on the application, we can mention that you've got ongoing sewer rehab and you have found more problems. We'll use it as a argument in the narrative that says, you know, town has invested considerably, because you have, in condition evaluation and asset, you know, rate studies and asset improvement plans. You've got a proactive approach to clean and TV. You've got, you know, you've done self-funding and, you know, DWI-funded AIA programs that have condition scored, GIS, and really exactly what the state wants to see you doing, being proactive to maintain. So, yes, it would help you. It wouldn't be, oh, they get 8 points for that when you're
Okay.
scoring their application, but it does get considered, and it helps to show that you are proactive in it instead of having let this happen to you and, oh, all of a sudden we need $40 million to fix everything. So,
But if we found something in that search, we could actually use that on a future grant application. Is that?
oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. I mean, that's what we would use to justify future grant applications is, this is the ongoing process. They've TV'd this much. We didn't have enough money to line everything, so we need more funds for this. And that, when they see the problem is there to be fixed and you're asking for the funds, more grant, more loan. It may come back as loan. That's all based on a financial, you know, stability kind of rates. Where are your rates? What is this? What is that? But you guys are right there in that sweet spot of, hey, this could go grant, it could go principal forgiveness, depending on how good an application we write and how good a justification we do, we put you in that upper where you get principal forgiveness before it's all gone away. And the last couple of times that they've had grant applications, we've seen $14, $15 million applications come in from big towns that are getting all loaned because they're in a physical place where they can physically, you know, pay that out of their grant fund or raise rates a little bit, but all they've got to do is raise their rates 10 cent or 1% in order to make an extra $5 million a month because it's Raleigh, it's Cary, it's big towns. And you guys have a big enough system to where you're getting into, you have a lot of maintenance issues, but you don't necessarily have the number of connections that a big system like, a real big system like that, 5 wastewater plants and 5, you know, those sorts of things that a Raleigh or Charlotte deals with. So, I mean, I've seen $30 million applications go in and get approved, but it's all grant, or not, I mean, it's all loan, but some of it gets to be a little bit of principal forgiveness because they qualified over here for these points or those points kind of thing. So, I mean, every application is very unique and individual, and I think it's just we do a better job of writing one that gets you a better mix. Like I said, in this last funding round,
Hey, and we pray over it.
all that was left was the loan.
So if we waited 2 weeks and got more information, we're okay?
Randy, I feel like you could be,
Yeah, we can do
Wait until we
that.
get the numbers.
My inclination is we go for this, but I would love to see just what the projected annual savings
Yeah.
would be.
I'll have you that in a few days, so you're ready for your next meeting. I apologize, I should have had it today, and I did not follow up well enough to be ready for this, so I apologize for that. But
should we just continue this until we get the numbers? Or
I think so. I mean, I think,
That being said, Mayor, I would suggest that we hold off on it right now till we get some numbers so we can look at what we're into.
Let's just make sure we're not messing up any
And
deadlines,
let's
though.
don't, and let's don't
I'll
hold
see.
it out till we lose the deadline, because that's a lot of money
And
to
then
I'll send
pass
an
up.
email.
Touch with those
I
individuals.
feel confident that's not gonna be a problem, but I'll send an email to the people that were asking me to where's this at.
And if there is a deadline, just
Let-
contact
let
us
us- let us know.
individually.
Well, if you got in 2 more weeks, if you got another meeting in 2 more weeks, that won't even be.
we do, right?
You do. You'll have the information, but I have to have it ready by next Tuesday to go out, so.
Okay.
Well, this is the only item.
And thank you so much, Mike, for coming today.
I think if we,
His aunt, I don't know if his aunt.
I think if we had that information a couple days later, it'd be okay, I think, yeah. But can we get the rest of it to us, but
Well, he could come, you could come and present the answer.
And it'll take me a half day.
she's referring to us wanting information ahead of time, so I think we can delay that a couple days if we need to, yeah.
Okay.
So do I hear a second to his?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
All right.
And I think that does it for us today. I would just like to remind everybody that Xavier's memorial service will be Friday at
Union Hill.
Union Hill from 6 to 8, and then at Northern Nash on Saturdays, beginning at 12. But keep his family in your prayers. We thank those of you that came out today. We appreciate you coming out, and we appreciate those of you online watching us. Do you have any comments, Council?
Mayor, before we dismiss, in reference to our fellow councilman Xavier Harrison, I would like to offer and make a point of record that we consider appointing his widow to fulfill his term out to the end of his term. She has already expressed that she would like to do it in his honor, and I think she'd be a prime person. We've already set precedents in years past by appointing widows of people that have passed on, so I would offer that up for the council to consider appointing her.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
And don't forget, we do have council people to head out to the